The Chelsea bosses are beginning to wake from their slumber, people. Hey, what's going on, friends? Welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you are all doing well today, friends. I really do hope that. We've left it late. We're into August now, a few days into August, and finally, Chelsea are making bids, making moves, taking action in regards to finally getting a top-tier elite striker, hopefully, to come to Chelsea Football Club this summer. Yes, it all seems far-fetched still for all of us clinging on to this news all summer, but it does seem like the board has woken up and they're making or putting money on the table. Serious money, which actually is a good thing. Marina Granovskaya, Roman Abramovich, Tuchel, the whole Chelsea gang have seen an £85 million bid plus Marcos Alonso rejected by Inter Milan, but other reports also suggesting that Romelu Lukaku's head is now starting to be turned to Chelsea. Ooh. Also, Chelsea have put in a buyback clause in Tino Livramento's deal to Southampton, which means they do think their Academy Player of the Season might come good away at Southampton, and they could actually end up welcoming him back. Strap yourselves in, subscribe if you're new, only if you want to, but if you're a returning visitor and you're not subscribed, I'd urge you to hit that subscribe button and the bell notifications icon too. It only takes a second, friend. Drop a like to help me out in the dark abyss that is the YouTube algorithm. Alright, friends, that's enough intro talking. Let's get into it and start by talking about Tino. Right, it's been announced, it's official, comunicado oficial, whatever the hell Real Madrid say. Tino Livramento is a Southampton player. The Saints, Hasenhüttl's primary target that he's delighted about. Remember, loads of top clubs wanted Tino. Southampton got him. It's a good level of club, and seemingly everyone is delighted about it. I'm going to quote you a story from the Evening Standard, take you through it, or at least a little bit of it, give you some context, then give you my thoughts on this player that could return. Tino Livramento has become the latest academy graduate to leave Chelsea after completing a move to Southampton. The highly rated fullback has signed a 5-year deal on the South Coast, with Saints paying a fee of around £5 million, beating Brighton, RB Leipzig and Aston Villa to the 18-year-old. They were the clubs probably bidding for him or coming in harder for him, but also the likes of Liverpool and Man City were looking at Tino Livramento. As with many players who leave from the academy ranks, Chelsea have included a buyback clause in the deal, thought to be at £25 million. News has actually come out recently saying the release clause could be closer to £40 million. Maybe a little bit more like Nathan Ake kind of thing. Truth is though, if he really does become elite, which he absolutely could do in relation to how highly regarded he was at Chelsea, then it could still end up being a snip. And ultimately that will frustrate people if they do buy a player back, but it's great development for him. Being his own man, playing for a club, not having to report back on loan, and hopefully getting played a lot by Southampton. We'll see what happens there. Livramento, who was named the Blues Academy Player of the Year last season, is one of a number of Chelsea youngsters to leave this summer. Southampton already added Daniel Simu to their ranks, while Mark Gurhey joined Crystal Palace, Lewis Bate has moved to Leeds United, and Miles Peart-Harris joined newly promoted Brentford. Tariq Lamptey left the club last season, and he showed what was possible away from Stamford Bridge, shining at Brighton. Of course, Fikayo Tomori as well went to AC Milan. There's a lot that was going out the door. Livramento would likely have been behind Reece James and Cesar Azpilicueta and Callum Hudson-Odoi in the pecking order, while Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel is also keen to add more depth in this position. Following the confirmation of the deal, Livramento said it was a, quote, no-brainer to join Southampton. Yeah, you kind of understand it in that way. I think Callum Hudson-Odoi was played there perhaps out of not necessity, but just trying to get him on the pitch. Cesar Azpilicueta won't be there forever, of course, and often plays right centre-back anyway. I think the biggest problem is Reece James. It's similar to the Tariq Lamptey situation. People were gutted when Frank Lampard gave Tariq Lamptey his debut. Suddenly everyone looked at him and wow, this kid is, amazing. And then was obviously sold. A lot of people were frustrated, but the truth is, Reece James is like a year older than him. They're both incredibly young. Reece James just, dropped a blinder in the Champions League final in that position. You can understand the frustration from the youngster about being behind Reece James, wanting first-team football, going to Southampton, a good sort of mid-table Premier League team. It's a really good opportunity to play some football. I'm not sure he'll start straight away, but he'll back himself to get into that team, especially after Southampton paid a few million for him. 5 million's not nothing for Southampton. That's an investment on a player they are intending to implement into their squad. Especially if you saw the Southampton announcement video for Livramento. They actually went to a lot of sort of, production level. So it's not like an academy player going into the development team. They're like, check out our new signing. This kid is really good and we're gonna hype him up. So, Anyway, friends, leave your thoughts, feelings and opinions on young Tino and the buyback clause down in the comment section below as we move on to a more sort of Galactico tier level of discussion and talk about this monster bid for Romelu Lukaku. That's right, friends, like I said at the top of the video, Chelsea are awakened. The dragon is awake. And no, I'm not talking about Marina Granovskaya. That would be not polite, let's say. But she's out here making moves, and Chelsea have got money. I've said it in recent videos. They have a lot of money because of Roman. They have a lot of money from winning the UCL and qualifying for the Champions League. So, they're ready to do business, and of course they've sold a bunch of players. If they sell Tammy, they'll be on about £100 million. If we do get 40 million for him in terms of revenue generated. But the whole Tammy Abraham discussion is for another time, I think, personally, because, people are backing him, people aren't backing him. It's creating a weird sort of divide of opinion in the Chelsea fan base. I don't think that many people are backing him to be the first choice striker. But anyway, I digress. Yes, we all want Erling Haaland. And yes, there is some people suggesting that if a big, crazy bid comes in, Dortmund would accept it. Chelsea haven't bid for Haaland yet. And the reports suggest that they haven't bid because they want the bid to be accepted. They don't want a bid to be sort of batted away. They don't want a sort of, this weird negotiation. They think they just want an understanding from certain people what it would take, and they'd go up to them and say, look, all right, here's the money that I would take. Let's just get this done and not have like bidding war with themselves. Some people are actually suggesting that the Romelu Lukaku approaches is a smokescreen, but I don't think so. In fact, there's been reports suggesting Thomas Tuchel is in fact a big fan of Romelu Lukaku and thinks he could convince him to come to Stamford Bridge. Remember that Antonio Conte, who's a charismatic, imposing coach who Romelu Lukaku absolutely adored, is gone. Is gone from Inter. Now, Inzaghi, I don't know how he's going to do over there and what he's like actually, but Thomas Tuchel is a certainly imposing, charismatic, excellent, elite European super coach that might be able to get into Romelu Lukaku's ear and make him feel loved like he needs to be to play at the top level. Conte knew that and he got the best out of him, and he's the MVP in Serie A. Maybe Tuchel can do that. I'm going to be citing an article from Sky Sports to give you some information on what went down regarding this bid. Chelsea have had an offer for Romelu Lukaku worth £85 million rejected by Inter Milan. Chelsea's proposal would have seen left-back Marcos Alonso move to Inter, according to Sky Italy. The offer came after the Premier League club warned it would take an offer more than 100 million euros, brackets £85 million, to tempt the Italian champions to sell Lukaku. The 28-year-old played a key role in Inter's Serie A win last season, scoring 24 goals. Inter need to reduce their wage bill this summer, and the title-winning boss Antonio Conte left the club in May amid the concerns about the plans they had to cut his budget. Indeed, Antonio Conte had just won Serie A. He's riding high. He's done this before at the Premier League when he feels like he's not backed afterwards, and not only was he feeling like he's not going to get backed, I think he knew an exodus was coming and player sales, and he's like, well, I'm going to leave on a high here. I can't take this team forward, especially if you're going to dismantle it and take it backwards. So Conte left. However, Lukaku is very happy and settled at Inter and ready to give his all for next season. After finishing in UEFA's official team of the season, he went on holiday to the Caribbean and the USA, where he stuck rigidly to his personal training program. And of course, he won the MVP. He's back training with Inter now and fully focused on the new season. Chelsea are determined to sign a world-class striker and their other main target this summer has been Borussia Dortmund's Erling Haaland. Lukaku previously spent 3 years at Chelsea, signing from Anderlecht as a teenager in 2011. However, he made only 15 appearances for the club, failing to score a goal before eventually moving to Everton for £28 million in July 2014. He was close to a return in 2017, but opted to join Manchester United for £75 million. Inter signed him from United for £73 million 2 years ago. Yeah, reports have come out again suggesting that he felt more wanted and more loved by Manchester United, even though Chelsea were interested in him at the time before they got Alvaro Morata. In fact, Chelsea were very upset with how Mino Raiola conducted himself in that deal, and they thought they were actually getting him. But in terms of how the clubs were conducting themselves, United sort of showed Romelu Lukaku they really wanted him. And like I said, he's a player that wants to feel wanted. Ultimately, it didn't work out at Man United, and he certainly didn't feel wanted at the end, so that's why he definitely wanted to get out of there. And he flourished at Inter. It's up to Chelsea to make him feel wanted if he's going to come back to the club. Now, with an £85 million plus Marcos Alonso bid rejected, so we're going to see what's going to happen there. Quickly, guys, I want to talk about Haaland and Lukaku. Yes, the most of you would prefer Erling Haaland. He's like 7 years younger. He looks like an absolute machine. I mean, they both look like machines at the moment, and certainly the last season with Lukaku, because he has developed, remember. Think about it. If Chelsea sign Romelu Lukaku, he signs a 5-year deal. It's his last big contract as an elite player. He gives his all for Chelsea because that's it for him until, maybe afterwards he goes to like an MLS or something. That's the situation. So he'll sign his final 5-year elite sort of tenure deal, and he'll want to give everything. Whereas Erling Haaland, he might play for Chelsea for a couple of seasons, and I do worry about looking at his trajectory. I wonder if he'll get bored and fancy Barcelona when he gets to 23, 24 years old around. Do you know what I mean? You can, especially with the instability of Chelsea Football Club historically. So you have a feeling one would be fully committed and is elite, and one you don't know how committed he'll be and is generally elite as well. But at least with Erling Haaland, he will retain value as an asset, and with Romelu Lukaku, that's, as it stands immediately, he's a depreciating asset. Much like Harry Kane, they're the same age. I think they're both 28 years old. They're both elite strikers, of course, but they're both depreciating as assets from the second this contract is signed. So you do have to consider that. Let me know what you guys think, or comment down below. Would you take Romelu Lukaku if Chelsea bid £100 million and give Marcos Alonso or something? Would you accept that? Would you be happy with Lukaku? I mean, I would be, because I'd be very excited. He's an elite striker in this Thomas Tuchel team. How could you not be excited about that? But at the same time, Man United, they'd probably look to get Erling Haaland for his release clause as a Cavani replacement. £65 million Erling Haaland going to a Man United with the Mulder connections, with Solskjaer. That will sting. Wouldn't it? That was sting. Anyway, let me know what you think. Comment down below, subscribe if you're new, drop a like and all that. And see you soon, friends. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, bitch.